Good morning, Recruit Class 55. How's everyone doing today? My name is Jamie Negrin, and I'm gonna tell you a little bit about myself and why I'm here today. Again, my name is Jamie Negrin. I work for Palm Beach County Fire Rescue, and I'm part of the Special Operations Unit within our department. I'm also a part of the dive rescue team. Prior to the fire service, I was a recreational diver for about 10 years. I also hold a certification as a dive master. And today, I'm here to talk to you about dive rescue within the fire service and why it's important for the fire service to have a dive rescue team. Specifically in our region down here in Florida, South Florida, we have bodies of water everywhere you look, whether it's canals, lakes, the ocean, intercoastal, even big pools. And it is my belief, my strong belief, that every fire department in South Florida should have a dive rescue unit. So today I'm going to talk to you about the importance of dive rescue in the fire service, as well as dive rescue operations, basically how we operate and what we do. I'll start off at the fire service, at the firehouse level. You know, when we get a tone and it's a water incident, right? Let's say it's a submerged vehicle underwater or a witness drowning. Tones go off, we jump in the trucks and we start getting dressed. At this point, we have an option of two different suits, right? We have a dry suit or a wet suit. Difference between the two really depends on the call. So the dry suit is going to keep water outside of your body, so you're going to stay dry inside. Where the wet suit will give you some thermal protection, but you are going to get wet. The dry suit is a little more consuming to don than the wet suit. There's more parts to it, but ultimately it will keep you safe from contaminants. Let's say, you know, a tanker full of diesel fuel tips, you know, into a canal, and now there's fuel spread everywhere. We're going to want to go with the dry suit. All right, once we get on scene, usually the officer will try to locate the person who made the call, if it was a witness call, and we kind of try to gather information to see where was the last point where they saw the person submerged underwater. If it's an unwitnessed, if it's somebody just driving by and they see, you know, a part of a vehicle submerged, those calls are a little more difficult because we don't know if there's someone in the vehicle, if they already came out, or where the victims could be, or how many victims. Either way, we dress up and we go to work, right? So once we get there, we have our suit on. Next thing we're gonna put on is our harness. This harness is basically a shackle. It's gonna keep us tethered into a 150 line rope, as well as our communication system. Our communication system is a two-way. You can hear and back and forth from the line tender. The line tender is a person who's on shore, and they're holding your line basically taut, right? We usually do a half moon pattern when we're swimming out in the water, and they're kind of not guiding us, but holding us in place, right? We're gonna have our booties with hard soles underneath them to make sure we don't get any puncture wounds from glass, sharps, anything that may be in these canals, which there is everything and anything in these canals. Then we go ahead and don our scuba tank, as well as our full face mask. We check our comms, make sure our comms are good, and then we go in the water. These waters are dark and murky. Visibility is usually 6 inches from your mask. If you could reach out a foot in front of you, that's actually a good day, but usually you can't see much. So we rely a lot on our tactile senses, as well as the pattern that we swim in. One of the dangers that we face while in these canals and lakes is wildlife. There's a ton of wildlife down there, and it's not uncommon for us to run into some wildlife down there. Just to give you a couple examples, you know, these lakes are full of gators and snakes, you know, just to name a few. Another hazard that we deal with are trash. People dump everything in these canals. So sometimes we get snagged on different things. If our line comms goes down and we no longer have a communication with the line tender who's outside, we have different signaling, which requires us to pull our rope, right? One tug means you're okay. Two tug means give me more line. Three tugs means I found someone. And four tugs means I'm in trouble. So those are the basics, right? We do our pattern. We systematically search back and forth. It's never that easy. We always get tangled up, and we kind of have to work our way out of it. Now, before we go in the water, there's always three divers that usually are ready to dive. Your primary diver, which is the person going out for the rescue. You have your safety diver, the second diver. That second diver is going to be completely suited up. The only thing that they won't have is they won't be breathing the air of the scuba, but they're basically waist deep in the water. And that safety diver is basically in case the primary diver gets in any kind of trouble, they will come in and help rescue, which there's on tangle or whatever the situation is. They'll actually even bring an extra bottle of air for any air emergencies. And then there's a third diver. That third diver we like to call the 90% diver. That 90% diver basically has everything on, but they're not in the water. They're just outside the shore. So why do I think dive rescue is so important? Basically, in conclusion, dive rescue is important to the fire service and why it should be integrated, right? It brings versatility to the fire service. It extends a range of response capabilities, right? Things that the fire service can't attend to, dive calls. Having dive rescue, will alleviate that. Any water-related emergency requires specialized skills and equipment that dive rescue has, which the fire rescue may not be able to cover adequately. To be a rescue diver, you must undergo rigorous training, acquiring skill and knowledge, things like underwater navigation, like we spoke about earlier, search and recovery, and dealing with the challenging elements of being in a murky water. All these things are vital to being able to have a proper rescue. And with us being here in South Florida, I think it's something that should be looked at if your department doesn't have a dive rescue team, and really consider implementing that into your fire service, because ultimately it's going to be a benefit to the citizens of your community. With that, I'll leave you guys with that bit of information. I hope you guys enjoyed some information that I gave you today, and have a great day.